When you think of broken characters in Smash Ultimate, you probably think of broken moves, broken combos, or attributes that make it so they can't really be touched and make it so they determine the game from second one. But there are characters that I think are so bad without certain moves that if they didn't have them, they would probably be mid to low tier characters. If you like content like this, make sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers and we're so close. I would love if you were a part of that. We are very, very close and I appreciate all the love and support I've been getting lately, but let's get into it. If you've played Melee at all, you probably know the meme that Zelda's best move in Melee is switching to Sheik, and I have the argument that Pyra's best move is switching to Mythra. There are a lot of arguments of where Pyra and Mythra are on the tier list. They can either be top 3 on one day or not even top 20 in another, and it really feels like it comes down to whenever an Aegis player feels like their character struggles against Steve or Sonic or Game & Watch, even though the character does so good against those characters, they just act like they play a much more honest game than everyone else, when I heavily disagree. Being fast in Smash Ultimate is such a blessing, and Mythra is the queen of it. She is so quick, has extremely good frame data, makes it so you can mash on people from a mile away and still chase them, frame traps for free, on top of being able to switch to Pyra when hypersense come down so you can kill a lot easier. But people don't realize that without Mythra, Pyra is kind of bad. Mythra having that speed, that pressure, and foresight makes it so that the character actually is very oppressive in neutral. And even if Mythra can't kill, being able to swap to Pyra in the ledge trapping and juggling situations makes it so there's quite a good balance. But without that ability to switch, Pyra is just so slow, has a recovery issue, has a landing issue, and neutral feels like they can't really compete with the rest of the game. Now, yes, this is basically a joke entry. You can always switch to Mythra, and there's no way that you can't take that away from you. Of course, they're not going to ban the ability to switch or anything, but I do see a lot of Pyra Mythra players say that this character is flawed or not that good because they always do the same thing of switching to Pyra when they don't need to. I've seen sets upon sets where the Mythra was destroying them and then they swap to Pyra and they start trying to fish to kill, and then the person makes a comeback because Pyra's disadvantage is not good, doesn't have foresight to get out of stuff, and they go back to Mythra while also taking a bunch of damage. It makes no sense. I do think that there are matchups that Pyra does well, but there's so many times that I'm just like, just use Mythra to make up the space, go Pyra at ledge, and then swap back to Mythra to just play neutral again. There's no reason not to, the character's that crazy. I know this feels like a joke entry, but this is a cautionary tale to every Aegis player or aspiring Aegis player. Please just get used to switching between them. Don't get too stuck on Pyra because you gotta understand, it's so much easier to hit Pyra than Mythra. It's so much easier. And while you're fishing for the kill, they're fishing for the comeback, and you don't want them to get that. I do think that the character wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it makes so much sense to just be able to switch comfortably and win that way. Next up, we're going to be talking about Samus, and Samus's move that obviously everyone knows, that has destroyed online, that ruins brackets for people, makes ledge trapping the most unfun thing in the world. It's Charge Shot. The reward off Charge Shot alone makes Samus so much better than she actually should be. I think without it, she probably has like 6 -3s and 14 -2s because she's slow, she's big, so she's easy to combo, and her other projectiles are just so much worse than Charge Shot. Power Drive has combos into forward smash, into up air, into back air, into grab. It has so many combos that is a stressful tool in neutral. Just the fact that it exists determines how people play neutral because you can't ignore it. If you do ignore it, you're going to take 50 out of nowhere. It's a broken to a ledge, it's a broken to a neutral, and it makes her advantage state go from just okay to disastrous. She can get combos at 60 and kill you with Charge Shot. Even just all levels of Charge Shot. It doesn't even have to be the fully charged. It can be the small parts can still combo into forward smash. So many of Samus's moves just don't work. They don't make any sense. Up B barely kills. Side B doesn't really make any sense. I mean, it's a combo tool if you're really close, but it's super slow. Down B is only really that good because of Charge Shot, since you can do it into Charge Shot and it's good at ledge. But so much of her kit just sucks. And it feels like it's impossible to hit small characters if you don't get Charge Shot hits, which means that characters like Olimar or Pikachu or Diddy Kong are a lot more stressful than they're supposed to be. As Samus without Charge Shot, doesn't work at all, and I feel like she'd just be a terrible character. But we do live in a world where she does have charge shot, but that's kind of why I think this character was designed not perfectly, but with charge shot in mind. It feels like if she didn't have charge shot, then the kit wouldn't come together, and it feels like if you get used to how you deal with charge shot, that's just the extent of the matchup. She does have other stuff, but how your character deals with it is so polarizing that it's just the entirety of the matchup in most cases. It's why characters with reflectors, or characters that naturally deal with charge shot with a lot of range, or just being able to hit her first with speed, make it really stressful for Samus. I feel like they just need to give her a more complete kit, because it just doesn't feel like they thought past charge shot. So many stuff got changed in Smash Ultimate, so many buffs, and we still got Samus's up smash not connecting properly. It makes no sense, and I hope they stop making characters like this where they only have one extremely broken move and the other moves, while good, have to rely on it to even function. And finally, we have Wario. Gluto is known as one of the best players in the world and one of the best Wario players for many years. I think he is just straight up the best Wario in like a decade. He always makes this character look insane. He has combos, his reads, his movement, masterclass. But Wario has fallen out of the meta a bit. Having a bad matchup versus Steve is such a killer in this game. Like, you basically can't avoid fighting a Steve player at major tournaments anymore. Even if you go to Steve banned tournaments, you still have Kazuya and Sonic to worry about, who are also very difficult. There is always that one move that Wario has that everyone has to worry about: Waft. No matter the matchup and no matter how slow the match is going, you will always have this ticking time bomb automatically that kills people at extremely early percents from true combos. This move is insane. Even his half waft, which isn't that strong, still does a lot of damage, and I've seen a lot of Gluto combos and comebacks because of half waft itself. Wario does have range issues. Wario still gets camped really hard. He can't really approach as well as other characters, and he doesn't determine the match from anything else because Waft is that strong, and it feels like they designed the character around it because he gets it automatically through stocks. You can't get rid of it. Unless he uses it, it will just be ticking over and over again. And even if you just want to play to his pace and play slowly, he might get 2 or even 3 in a match that will probably change the tide. Yeah, you do have the terrible matchups that can just camp him to the point that those wafts don't matter, but I still think if Wario didn't have waft, those characters would demolish him. It's honestly so polarizing that I think it undermines how smart Gluto is, because he has to do a lot to overcome these matchups. Just seeing how they're naturally played, it feels like Wario can't get the hits he wants at all. And anytime he gets the waft, it's like, thank God he had waft because he couldn't play otherwise. Fighting Sonic, Kazuya, Steve, Game & Watch, Luigi, they all seem so difficult. He just has range issues, he gets comboed really well, he doesn't really have a way to chase that's not just jumping, and his neutral, while still pretty good, isn't that much better than, you know, a bunch of other characters, so he just has to work a lot harder. And it's weird to say that to a character that has an automatic move that kills extremely early, but it's true. Wario just goes lower and lower in people's minds because he has to work hard. He has to chase people. He gets camped a lot. Projectiles are a struggle. Wario feels like a special case because he feels like such a normal character until he starts glowing. And then when he starts glowing, if you get hit by Nair or you roll into an up tilt, you're dead. And it's really funny every single time. Of course, there are other Warios than Gluto. We have Loaf, we have Skit, we have Crip Soleil's Wario, even though he mostly goes Steve from what I understand, but it's still very good. But all of them do feel like they're working harder than us until they get glowing. And I feel like if we're gonna make a character like this is the only fair way you can do it. I still remember when Gluto was overrunning people, but I feel like when Steve came out, it just became way too hard. I still think watching Wario is pretty cool and he's pretty fun to play, but it's obvious that his tools just don't work as well as everyone else's, and the meta has a pretty good handle on him. I'm still going to be cheering for Gluto, but it's going to be a lot of work to see him become #1. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate it. We're going to be trying to have YouTube streams soon, so make sure you tune into that. I appreciate you guys who comment all the time. Thank you so much. Let me know any broken moves that I didn't talk about today. I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.